Hey, what's up guys? So today what I was doing was trying to get a bioactive enclosure built for one of my other adult geckos that I've had for a few years. I've had her in this 36 by 18 by 24 and it's been good. And I had it decently set up where it was like half like semi-bioactive. There were still like a few fake plants in there, and personally, I just got tired of looking at all the fake plants, so I wanted to see if I could kind of take it up a notch and make it fully bioactive. And personally, I think it turned out pretty well. So here I am, just kind of getting all that silicone, spreading it around on the enclosure. This is my first time going this thorough with everything, and it seems like it did work pretty well. I guess the idea behind the silicone is that whenever you apply the spray foam to it, it allows everything to kind of stick to it a little bit better and adhere to the surface. So that's what I ended up doing. I was pretty happy with the result. Here I am just kind of making like a grid with my fingers, that way there's more surface area for it to bind to. And yeah, that's about it. That worked pretty well. So yeah, like I said, here I am with the spray foam. It's like a natural pond foam. I really like how it looked. It looked really well. So spray that there, and I was doing it in thirds, or trying to do it in thirds, so that it wouldn't dry on me too quick. And versus trying to do the whole thing and then, figuring out where I wanted my cork hides and plants and all that kind of stuff to be. And I think it worked out fairly well, if I'm being honest. So with the setup, I did want to add quite a bit more horizontal hides. So I had a couple cork rounds that I'm going to end up placing throughout the whole enclosure, and you'll kind of see I've got like multiple areas throughout the tank, just where they can lay horizontally. I really don't like it when I see a lot of geckos sticking to the glass. Mine still does from time to time. She still likes, I don't know what it is. She still likes to stick to glass here and there, but it isn't like her primary position. She might just sit there for, maybe even a few hours, and she'll move to a different part of the tank, just to prevent floppy tail syndrome. I've just been hearing more and more about how that's really not good for the gecko. And so I wanted to try and place as many horizontal basking spots, if you will, or like hides and things like that. And you'll kind of see that throughout this setup. There's multiple horizontal places that she can sit at. Okay, and anyways, here what you'll see is I'm placing this organic potting soil over the foam, and it was a total waste of time. A huge waste of time, because none of it stuck to the foam. It's very disappointing. I thought it would look cool, kind of give it like that cool, like earthy texture, but it all came off. And I don't know if it's because I waited too long to put it onto the foam, or if it was just too moist. I think that bag was opened for maybe a few weeks, but I guess there was still some moisture and humidity in the bag, and maybe the second it hit that spray foam, the surface of the foam cured to where it didn't bind to any of the soil. Not a big deal, it ended up working out, and I ended up just painting everything, which you'll see that later on. And now you might be wondering, why is the bottom half of the foam white? Well, I ran out of foam. I thought that one can was going to be more than enough. It wasn't, and I'd ordered it. And this is the closest thing I could find. It's like Loctite spray foam. I was really stressing out about it, that it was going to be super ugly and obvious, the color difference, but honestly, it actually still worked out really well. And I think that's just basically due to placing little bits of cork and things like that over it, and then painting everything, right? So just kind of cutting it and then painting it, and it really kind of allowed everything to still look pretty decent at the end. Here I am applying some foam to that pot, just to kind of help reinforce it and make it sturdier. Last thing I want is for that to fall apart, all my geckos climbing around in it. So here I'm breaking apart some of the little cork pieces, trying to give it more of like a natural look, and I wasn't very happy with how this looked at the time, but now with it all set up, it really does blend in pretty well. It's pretty cool. I ended up putting a pothos over it. Yeah, so you'll kind of see here I'm painting it, and it's like it really helps kind of tie everything together. I just got a, I believe it was Umber Brown was the paint I used, and just some cheap paint from Walmart. I say cheap, like acrylic paint, and it's working good. And my main focus here was to cover as much of the white as possible, because the gray is more of like a natural stone color, and I do go over a lot of that with the brown paint too, just to kind of help blend everything together. But yeah, it actually worked really well. See, like here it looks pretty damn natural, if I will say it. And I've got in the top right corner, he's got that big piece of cork, it's hollow so she can climb in it, and then underneath the pot, it's kind of hard to tell, but that's actually a cork round as well. It's hollow as, you know, it's hollow as well, so she can climb into it if she ever feels like. But she hasn't. I haven't seen her climb into either one of those, which is cool. It's whatever. She's actually been chilling more at the front of the enclosure, which I'm pretty cool about as well. I think that just kind of goes to show that she's more comfortable, you know, being at the door of the tank and isn't as afraid of me. So that's it's a huge dub on my end. I'm super stoked on that. I've been really working with her recently to try to gain her trust, and it's paying off. So it takes a bit of effort, but it works well. So here you might be thinking, what the heck am I doing with these popsicle sticks? And I know the angle is pretty bad, and I do apologize, but so some of the harder to reach areas, I'm adding moss. So I got some silicone, and I'm just kind of scraping it onto certain areas and wedging moss onto it. Multiple reasons. A, because moss looks cool. And B, because this big enclosure does have a screen top, and some of the gaps between the glass panels they're not huge, but this enclosure does not retain humidity very well. I've got a fogging system that I've got attached to it to kind of help with it, and my idea here was to try and wedge as much moss as I could to the back. I say as much moss, but just a good bit of moss on the back of the enclosure, just to sort of help, you know, just help the enclosure retain more humidity. Yeah, and I do understand you do want your enclosure to hit a drying out phase throughout the day, and then you want a big spike of humidity at the beginning of the night, typically. That's what I prefer. So it's not the biggest deal that it dries out, but still, I don't know, I just prefer a little bit more moisture. Here I am, putting my, getting my drainage layer set up. I had ordered, I think it was like 2 pounds of those Hydroton balls, and I guess I very much underestimated how little they weigh, or how much they weigh, whatever. It was not nearly enough, but thankfully I did have 2 bags of, what do we call it? It's like just rocks, right, for drainage, like drainage rocks. I've used these before in some other setups, and it works good. I don't know if it works as good as the Hydrotons, probably not, but it does the job. Still creates the layers. I just kind of mixed it in, get it all mixed up and do that. And then I've also been experimenting with adding more charcoal to my enclosures. Keeping my springtails alive has been a challenge. That might be due to how hard it is for me to keep the humidity in the enclosure. I'm not totally sure. I need to work on that a little bit. I've got some springtail cultures propagating as we speak, so that way if I kill them all, it's not, the biggest deal, and I've got some more that I can try and figure this out with. But anyways, yeah, so that's my idea with the charcoals, to potentially help with that and also help combat mold. And I don't know, honestly, I just kind of feel like it helps everything smell better. I use stainless steel screen for the barrier. That's what I have, so that's what I was using. It's a little bit hard to work around, but just make sure it was stainless steel so it doesn't rust or anything like that. I've used it before and it seems like it works really well as well. Here I am adding, I think it's from Zilla Jungle Mix. I like it. It's a good substrate. It's got a mix of like, I think some charcoal, moss, and dirt. And then I also used some leftover organic potting soil just to kind of add some more soil. Here's some snake plants I'm adding. They are not the healthiest. I had them in the enclosure before, and I think they were dealing with a little bit of root rot. But my gecko loves these snake plants. She loves them. She's always in them. Like I'll throw a bunch of cool stuff for her to hide and to climb in, and she'll use it. But every morning, wake up, look at her enclosure, she's crawled back into that snake plant. It's just her favorite. So figured I wouldn't do the disservice of throwing them out and try to put them back in. And hopefully this time I can kind of do a better job of keeping the snake plants healthier. And along with just adding some more vegetation on the bottom, just because why not? It looks cool. It's like a vine thing. I always forget the name of it. So I got a vine there, and then there's some pothos cuttings or whatever you want to call it. So hopefully those kind of spread out and just sort of fill the floor of the enclosure with more, more vegetation. Here you can kind of see where I put that pothos in the top left corner. So I think it looks sick. And then these Geckotopia flex bridges are the shit. They're awesome. These are the XL ones, but they got all sorts of different sizes, and they're great. I love them. Kind of like what I was talking about, like just with preventing floppy tail syndrome. I think it's a great idea. That, or I'm just a sucker for their marketing. I don't know, but I think it's worth it. Adding some leaf litter for the little isopods, the little critters, and we're throwing them in. This is like kind of my favorite part, just setting up every enclosure, just tossing in some isopods. And I've got like a weird mixed species. I really don't know what they are. For whatever reason in my area, they're kind of hard to get. But one of the pet stores nearby had like a mixed variety, and we don't know what these are, like $1 a piece, and I've just been propagating them since then. But yeah, here's Ramona in her awesome enclosure. She's, look at that, on that horizontal flex bridge. But yeah, she's loving it. And I'm really happy with how this turned out, and hopefully this kind of inspires y'all to make bioactive enclosures and get a good idea on how to do this for yourself. But yeah, thanks for watching.